Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about how I made a photo guest book station for our upcoming graduation party. Photo guest books are really popular right now for graduations, for weddings, for baby showers, and for retirements, even birthday parties, and they're really pretty easy to pull together. So in this video, I'm just going to talk about the different things I pulled into my photo guest book, and then at the very end I'll talk about how I actually created my guest book for people to write in and put their pictures. If you find anything in today's video to be helpful, please do me a favor and take just a second and like the video. And if you like to do DIY projects or a lot of party planning, please press subscribe. Having a sign is really important because while it's a really popular trend to do photo guest books, there are still so many people that don't really know what they are. So it's just kind of describing to them the steps that will happen while they're filling out the guest book. So first they'll snap it, which means take a picture. They'll shake it to help develop the picture. They'll stick it into the album and they'll sign it. So we'll kind of walk through what I have on the table for each of those. But the sign is a really important part of your photo guest book station. So our first step to snap it is really taking place with a camera. So you'll need to have one of these on your photo guest book station, and you just press the button and you'll see the film comes out and it's not developed. That takes us to step number 2, which is to shake it. And then after shaking it, your guests can kind of let it develop and set it down, and that's when they can pick out some decorative tapes. And you'll see here in a minute we've got lots of choices of tapes they can use at our table. They can just tear off those pieces, or we do have some scissors, but they'll tear off a piece and then they can just place that picture right in our guest book and then tape it down. And then there is room next to the picture for that last step, which is to sign it. And we've got these decorative metallic pens that they can use to write their note. The colors all really pop on this black paper. You could use white paper if you wanted, but I think the black looks kind of cool, and these metallic pens work really great on the black paper. So again, you've just got to shake this picture. And so you can see while the person's film is developing, that's actually a great time for them to write their note. And so I had an idea, because I know it's hard to kind of plan where something's going, and decided, hey, what if I went into these pages and kind of marked where that picture might go? And that way, while it's developing, people can go ahead and write their note. And then by the time they're finished writing their note, then their picture should be dry enough to go ahead and tape it down into the book. Now, here's what the little packages of film look like. They come in boxes. I've just unboxed all of mine, and I have them here on the table so that we can easily refill the camera when we need to as the package of film runs out. Okay, let's take a couple minutes and just look at the guest book itself. I really struggle with finding a guest book that you could tape pictures onto and write a note. Most of the albums I found had the plastic page protectors, which don't come with the insert pages. You do those separately. And then the guest books didn't really have places to add photos that look right. And so what I decided to do was use this 3-ring album from Hobby Lobby, and instead of using those plastic page protectors, I decided to 3-hole punch my paper and put it right into the album, and to use that as my guest book. Now, I could have used white paper. Instead, I chose to use the black because I do like how the metallic ink pops on those black pages. And you could get 200 sheets of cardstock, either black or white, for only about $16. They have value packs at Hobby Lobby that have 200 sheets, $16. Paper Studio is the brand, and it's often 50% off, so you can get those sheets for about $8 for a pack. After I got my paper inserted, I decided just to play around a little bit. I really want this album to encourage note writing. I think, a guest book it just means so much more if it's not just a signed name, but it has some kind of best wishes or tip or memory captured. And so I really want to signal to people that they have room on this piece of paper to write a note. And so I just kind of started playing around a little bit, seeing, how much room does it take to tape down a photo? and about how many photos do I think I could fit on each page. And I decided 2 would be a really good number. You know, I could easily fit 2 photos and still allow a lot of room to write notes. And with as many pieces of paper as I was able to fit in this album, I think that that number will work out really well for all of the guests attending our party. So what I decided to do was go ahead and sketch out for people what that might look like. And I used my metallic pens, and I, dotted lines, kind of marking the paper in half. And then I also marked lines just showing, hey, here's where your photo could go, because it's kind of hard when that photo is drying. You can't really tape it down just yet, but if the photo's not there, you don't know what room you have left to write on the paper. And so by marking the photo spots, it just took just a second, that will really show people, oh, look, this is all the space I have to put my note. And I really think that might encourage more note taking, or note leaving, I should say, at the party. I also think by marking the spots, where the notes will be and where the photos will go, it's really going to make this guest book look really great when all of these photos are in and the notes are in. It is going to be a guest book, I think, that will be so treasured by the person who's hosting the party, because it will not only have great notes and great photos, but it will just look fantastic. Okay, so we have the inside of our album looking great. Let's take a few minutes to talk about the outside. I've gathered some different items that I think I'm going to use to decorate this. This is stack layered papers that I have on a different project, so it matches with my party decor. I have some ribbons, a wider light blue ribbon with a more narrow white ribbon that I thought I could run along the side. I also found these great flowers that are burlap flowers at Hobby Lobby. They're the Paper Studio brand, which means they're often half price since they're running promotions on that line a lot. And then, of course, I need some scissors and a hot glue gun. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do to really decorate this burlap guest book or album is I need to get the ribbon glued on. And so I start with my wider piece of ribbon. You can see I've already cut both my blue and my white ribbon to the length that will allow me to go all the way around this cover and then to glue it together on the inside of the album. And so I'm just trying to center it. You notice that on the front you've got the 3" by 3" square frame opening, and I'm wanting to center this blue ribbon in between the photo and the spine. And so that's what I'm doing here, just trying to get it placed correctly before I actually start to put my glue on it. Once the ribbon's positioned, you can go ahead and use your glue gun to just put a strip of that glue right directly onto the album cover. And then I just press my ribbon onto it, and I'm really trying to pull it tight. What I don't want is wrinkles in my ribbon. And that's also why I'm starting on the insides, just so I can get it placed so that when I'm ready to move to the front, I can just pull it really tight. Then I'm going to take my white ribbon and start my layer. And luckily on this, there's this really thin strip down the middle, and I'm just trying to get the glue down that thin strip that's not sheer. The rest of this ribbon is pretty sheer, and so it makes it kind of tough to glue. So I'm just getting the glue on that piece of the ribbon so that then I can press it right on top. And once I get this down, I'm just going to continue this as I wrap it around the front and pull tight to keep the wrinkles out of it. And then pulled around over the front of the album, all the way then back around into the inside cover of the album and glued down. So just really important to keep that tight. I glue the blue first, and then I come back and glue the white ribbon and just make sure that I'm centering that white ribbon so it's going to be able to line up with that ribbon on the top. And then I just trim off the excess ribbon and make sure I have a nice clean line. Add any extra glue to get the edges like really staying down so they don't fray up. And then once you've got that done, really that cover is finished and you've got a great looking ribbon lining that front of your album. Now, the next thing we're going to do is take a look at the flowers and what we can do to embellish this front with our burlap flowers. I've picked out a couple of the larger burlap flowers and one of the small, and I'm just going to dot some hot glue on those and press them down onto the ribbon or onto the burlap cover, just depending on how I'm doing my placement. It's just really nice because these flowers give this album some depth and dimension, and it really adds in even more texture. I just like how there's a burlap album cover, and then just the texture of these flowers I think really adds a lot to this guest book. If you found something helpful in today's video as you're thinking about your upcoming party and your photo guest book, please take just a second and tap the like button. I'd really appreciate that. And if you do DIY projects or you do have upcoming parties, my channel is a great one to subscribe to, so take a second to do that as well. Also, I am going to leave some links down in the details section below of some of the items that I've showcased today in this video. So I hope that the video has been helpful, and I hope you have a great day.